Well, hello. Today I want to talk about a little project that anyone can do uh, if they want to. So I had been teaching at our church's men's retreat, and we always play a lot of music. And in the process of that, I um, took my Dobro style lap guitar that I had built, which I'll do on another video. I'll talk about that. And that was a lot of fun, and guys wanted to play around with it. And in the same note, a friend of mine, Bert, who lives in Tualatin, was there, and he brought a couple project instruments for me. And one of them was this guitar. So thank you, Bert. Here's what I'm going to do with it. And it's nothing special. Um, it's made in Japan. It's hard to find it in there. It's just an old, cheap style guitar, but it's got some redeeming qualities. It's got a steel reinforced neck. It's got a steel post here, so it can handle steel strings. So I got to thinking it might be fun to tune this, and everything I'm going to do is free. That's important. So I got some strings that I'd gotten from someone else a while back that had been in a guitar case for, give or take 30 to 100 years. I don't know how it is. Some real old, heavy strings that I wouldn't actually want to use on a guitar per se, but they'd be ideal for playing slide. So I thought I would turn this into a lap acoustic slide guitar. Acoustic lap steel. And the plan is to take this nut loose and glue a spacer underneath it, glue it to a piece of wood, and then glue it back on so it's higher. I'll have to put a saddle in here somewhere that raises the strings enough off the fretboard to give it some function. And the frets become your markers. I'll tune it to an open G and play it. And I'm going to experiment. I did spend money. I spent $4.25 on two church keys, those old-fashioned bottle openers. They're called church keys. And those, if you put them at the fret and turn them sideways, make pretty good capos in the old days on lap steels. So if I get the strings high enough to be able to pull that off, then you got a nice little capo so you can change keys. And I'll use this empty Tabasco bottle for a slide. And Tabasco is a great deal. Buy a bottle of hot sauce and get a free guitar slide. And so that's what we're gonna do. And the other thing that was in the bag, he gave me an old mandolin also, which I'll probably just string and see if anyone wants to learn to play the mandolin. But in the bag was this pickup. And it's a sound hole pickup for a guitar. And I thought, if I'm doing this, I might as well stick that in there, and that way it could be plugged in also. And then the long range plan for this, I'm not planning on keeping it so much as just passing it around amongst my friends and letting anyone that wants to play with it and learn to play slide style guitar to have fun with it. So that's the deal. I'm going to dink around with it and get it strung up, and in the next day or so. I've got a lot going on today, but in the next few days we'll finish this video, and you'll get to see how that works. Lord bless you. Till then. So playing with this old beat up guitar, turning it into a lap steel. So here's what I came up with. There are a lot of things I had to fix. I actually re-glued the bridge on because all that was holding it was a little through bolt. We'll see how well that does over time, but I use the tight bond, but the wood's already been kind of weakened. Put the pickup in the sound hole, volume knobs, in pin, or the input, and put strings on it. What I did for a bridge is a couple lag bolts. I cut the tips off and stuck them in there so the strings go up over the lag bolts, and the purpose of that is to get the strings good and high off of everything. And I wanted to fix it so the scale was a little shorter to keep the tension a little lower on the old worn out body of this instrument. And so what I used instead of a church key was an old wrench, because I did it before the church key came. So I stuck that wrench under there, and that's a 0 fret on this. I made it into a 24-inch scale, release some of the tension. Now all you'd have to do to change keys is move that wrench from fret to fret and count your way up like you would a normal capo. You just turn the wrench sideways, slide it, turn it sideways again, and you've changed keys. And when it comes to making sure it's right, then what you want on a dobro is just matching tones. So like you'd have you have your G and your G. They want to sound the same, right? Your B and your B, and your D and your D. And if those are blended, then you're pretty good, and you can go ahead and play it. Let me find my picks here. Must be in my pocket. And using, like I said, the Tabasco bottle for a guitar slide. The point of that, I have a nicer slide. I'll talk about that at some point and what I did with that when I talk about the actual resonator lap steel I built. That'll be a different video. But the point of that is, you know, I'm going to pass this guitar around to everybody that wants to play with it. So they might as well just use a Tabasco bottle. And I'm not the greatest lap steel player in the world or anything, but I can get along. And so I thought I'd just play a little bit so you can hear the sound acoustically. It is plugged in, but I do have the volume off. And I have my good old rolling cube down here to the side. And so that's the sound. And I'll just kind of do a little deal up and down the neck so you hear it. So that's acoustically. I like the sound. It sounds pretty good. If someone wanted to learn to play a little bit of Dobro style guitar, lap resonator, however you want to lap steel, in an open G tuning, they could do this. And so the tuning I'm using is GBD. That's kind of standard on a lot of the old time resonator lap steels that you'll see people playing. I don't always call it a Dobro because Dobro is actually a brand name. And so the technical term on some of those with the big metal plate in front is a resonator lap steel, or resonator lap guitar, square neck. And so this is a acoustic lap guitar. It's actually acoustic electric because I had the free pickup I stuck in there. And I'm going to turn that on real quick, and we'll talk about this. That's got juice. So all in all, it came out pretty well. Like I said, it's just an old Japanese-made guitar. Pretty inexpensive instrument. Had a steel reinforced neck, so I thought I'd use it for this. It works, and anyone that wants to learn how to play a lap guitar could do it with this and have a lot of fun. And it didn't cost anything. Just old things I wasn't using, and something someone gave me, and put it together. So I hope you enjoyed that. If nothing else, got a kick out of it, using a wrench for a nut or a capo, and just kind of cobbling together something that was maybe a lot of people would think of as a throwaway. Honestly, I probably could have turned this into a playable guitar as well, just using the nut and stringing it and putting the saddle in it. But I wanted to do this instead. I've got plenty of playable guitars, and I'll pass this on, and it'll probably just go through a circle of people, give it to the first person that wants it or however. And meantime, I think I'll play around with it and have some fun. Hope you enjoyed the video, and the next time I talk about lap steel guitars, I'll I'll talk about the build on my resonator lap guitar, and it's a square neck that I built, and we'll look at that and talk some more. You can actually, you could turn any guitar into a lap guitar if you wanted to. Uh, I have another one. I sometimes just take an extra saddle that I have and turn it sideways under the strings, and it's enough to be able to play it like that. If I, tune it GBD, and any bottle or bar or anything like that can work just fine as a slide. And they do make, which someday I might play around with it. It's a conversion. It's a nut conversion, and it just goes over your standard nut and sits on the guitar with some grooves, and you do put that on there, and you've converted your guitar to a lap guitar. So if you have an old guitar that you want to learn to play a little slide with, or a lap style guitar, it's really that easy. And I hope people that see this video have a little fun with their own experiments. Lord bless you till the next time.